Everybody, welcome back to another review. Today we have the action pose Boba Fett from XM Studios. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. So before we proceed, let's go back to the beginning and see the semi-unboxing and the assembling of the statues, okay? So stay tuned, I think you would like this one today. So it looks like it's a two-layer box, and the box is pretty big. On the outside of the shipping box, it says it weighs a little bit over 27 kilograms, so that's around 60 pounds or so. And I think the box itself and the packaging materials is like 15 or 20 pounds, so the statue is pretty hefty. And then the top layer you have Boba Fett and then some accessories, and then on the lower layer the base, which I can tell you is very heavy. Well, not as heavy as the octopus for Namor, but it's pretty heavy. I had to take the stuff out and then bring it down piece by piece. Okay, and then I guess for the first time we have the color box with an image of what Boba Fett would looks like when you assemble it, or and then on the side, nothing there with the little Disney thing. And then you have Star Wars Boba Fett. And that's about it. I think this is the first time that we actually get an image of the character on the box. And then on this side, we have a little story about Boba Fett. Okay, so let's see what else we get. Alright, so we have XM's assembling handbook. Surprisingly, there is no print, so I wonder if they forgot to include one, or if there isn't any print with the Star Wars line. So I guess we'll have to I'll have to contact them or something just to see. Okay, so I guess they're doing the handbook now with all of the statues, the new ones. So just a quick flip through. That's what the statue would look like after it's done, and then of course this is always appreciated. When you put the stuff back, at least you can see where the parts go. And then let me see, and then they tell you the steps in assembling it. So it's always good to follow the steps instead of just going out and winging it. And then just more steps. Let's see. And then you have this optional flamethrower, and then just a little backstory. Okay. And then you have two alternate display, flamethrower or the gun, I guess, or pistol. Okay, and then we have what we have here. Okay, there's your flamethrower, and then all of that good stuff. All right. And then registering your statue, and then of course carrying for your statues and everything. Okay, so the only bad thing so far is this. Now I guess it got ripped during when they packed it in, so I guess my statue's now worth half price. But anyway. Alright, so let's get the statue assembled. Alright, so I have the base on. This is a one piece. So as you can see, that's some, I guess, something. I have no idea what it is. Some Star Wars thing, and then that's the smoke. That's going to be coming out of Boba Fett's jacket, backpack. Okay, so the statue would go on, and then we'll go and attach that. As you can see, I like the smoke effect. It's very good. But the only thing so far is this. From the jetpack, it's supposed to shoot some flame out. And I don't think I've seen one statue where the flame can look realistic. I mean, you can look at pictures and videos, but I don't think you can ever recapture that, I guess, look. But the smoke looks good. So we're going to go ahead and install the other stuff. Okay. According to the instructions, we are going to install the big plate, number 2, right there, and then we'll do 3 and 4. Okay. So we have a plate, and then what we're gonna do is we'll try to slip it into here. So you can see, so it should slip in nicely. Oh, here we go. Okay, so, well, not quite. There we go. All right, so it's in. So it looks like it's part of a platform or something. And I'm guessing that's some form of Mandalorian graphics in the back. So that's nice. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we'll attach number 3. Whatever this 2B thing is. So we're just going to slip it right in there. Okay. And then this little knobby thing, I don't know what to call it. So it's supposed to be right there. So we're going to slip it right in here. Oh, that's it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach number 5, which is the body. Okay, so I'm going to go retrieve the body. Alright, so there's a hole here that we can insert the body. And it looks like, let's see, this is the body, and it's a 1 peg. This is pretty big. I wonder if the metal, because as you can see with the foot right there, I wonder if the whole thing is metal underneath that rides up. Knowing XM, that's probably it, because I just can't see the peg being just up to here. Because ooh, this feels metallic. Okay, so because it would just fall off, you know, might crack it. So what we're going to do is we're going to install it right in here, and hopefully it will fit somehow. Oh, it's not cooperating. Alright, let me do this off camera because I don't want to break anything. And then we'll be right back. And we're back. Alright, I was able to find a hole and insert it into that, and then so basically he's leaning back. It's compact so far. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the backpack. So just to give you guys a look. Okay, so I'm assuming that's going to be all magnet. Alright, so let's go find the backpack. Okay, so I have the backpack. Everything's screaming quality. It feels solid. You know, it's pretty heavy. You would normally think the backpack would be like, you know, some cheap plastic, but no, this is resin. It's really nice, and even the two, I guess, jetpack thingamajig attachment, they're actually metal. Okay. So they're not some cheap plastic stuff. Okay, so when we spin this thing around, okay, so we're going to attach the backpack to the pack. Okay, pretty strong magnet. And then, well, it's telling me to attach it. You know what I'm going to do is, it looks like I need to attach these two first. Okay, and then somehow we have to fit it into this thing. Okay, like that. So I'm guessing I need to attach it here. Okay, and then it's adjustable to fit there, and then we'll attach this one here. So that's what we're going to do is, this is a little bit tricky. So what you want to do is attach it there. And somehow attach it there, but I don't know how that would fit in here. You know what, let me take this off camera, and then let me try to figure it out, and then I'll let you guys see what I found out. Alright guys, so the directions isn't very clear. It just tells you to attach the two pieces to the backpack, and then just to attach it, but as you can see, you would have to manipulate it, and this thing is pretty firm, so it's kind of tricky because I'm afraid I might break something. So what I did was, you know, what you want to do is attach that first, right there, and then go ahead and squeeze this in here on this part, and then once you are able to do that, you should be able to, oh, there we go, you should be able to slip the jetpack in. There we go. Okay. So that's kind of tricky to do. I don't know how am I gonna get it out when I have to move this thing, but as you can see, that looks pretty good. This wasn't done, I guess, very well. The instructions just gives you a little bit of, attach this and that, but in practice it's a little bit harder. So you're gonna have to twist and turn these two. Okay. So that's what the backpack in with that, and I suppose that supports the statue because it's leaning, as you can see. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the two arms for the first alternate display. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're doing dual pistoles. Okay, a la Jango Fett. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and then the other one we have this one. Okay, so that's what the pistols look like. Okay, so I don't think it's any particular order, so we're just gonna attach it in like so. Okay, we'll spin this around, and this one he's pointing it up. Okay, so I'm guessing the next thing we're gonna do is we'll attach the head. Okay. Alright, so yet I am wrong again. Instead of installing or attaching the head first, based on the instructions, it recommends that we attach the the piece of cloth. It's all plastic. Okay, so there's a notch up here. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but we're just going to attach this into there. Okay. So it looks like it's, he's coming down. And then the braided Wookiee scalp. The only thing I would say is, well, this is plastic, obviously, but it would have been nicer if they had done this in, not real hair, obviously, but some form of, strings. And then it would look more realistic than this. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to attach it here. Okay, you can see there's a spot right there. Okay, so we're just gonna snap it in, right, like so. So it has that plasticky feel. It would be better if they do, the thin brush or something, and then make that. And of course, we have the head. And I'm not a Star Wars aficionado. So I don't know how accurate it is, and I know there's a dent there, but in looking at it, if you can see the side profile, it looks like the top of the helmet is a little bit too small. Like this part, it should not be down this far. It should be like got a higher hump. Okay, same thing is over here, as you can see. There should be like a hump like that. So they made this a little bit too low, in my opinion. And then if you look at the front. There should be like a more hump, like that. Okay, so that's just my take on it. And then of course you have the lower antenna. This is metal, and all you're gonna do is attach it in here. Now this is okay. It would be nice if you can make the antenna go. Nope, it cannot do it. Okay, so it could come down or up. Okay, I don't think it's the antenna. It's maybe that little thing where it comes down to here and then he can zoom in or something. So that's the one thing that I like about the sideshow pieces. This thing actually goes down and up, and I don't think this thing can. It doesn't look like it. So we're stuck with this. Okay, so we're just gonna attach it in here. Whoops. No magnet. It's just friction. So I'm gonna put this back. Okay. So looks like he's got to be jumping down and then using his booster to have a safe landing. Okay. The reason I think he's not boosting up is because of this. Because if he was boosting up, this thing would be like down here. Okay, it wouldn't be floating up unless he's coming down using his booster for a softer landing. All right, so let's do a 360 with the two pistols like his father Jango Fett, and then we'll switch out for the flamethrower and maybe the other his signature gun. Okay, so I'm gonna take this back a little bit, and then we'll do 360. Oh, remove this, and here we go. So I love action poses, action over standing pose, and of course over sitting poses. But there are exceptional pieces like the XM Magneto that the sitting down pose is really nice, as you can see. This one is better if you can display this on a higher level so you can get more details. Okay. So it's really nice. There isn't a lot of horizontal space requirements, just vertical. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to detach this arm and that arm, and then we're going to do the flamethrower and the other, his signature blasters. Okay, and I think I need to undo everything. So let me grab those things and then we'll put the alternate displays on. Alright, so the first switch out we're going to do is we're taking out the right arm, and then we're going to go with the signature blaster that you see in the second trilogy for Star Wars. It's really nice. I don't know how accurate it is. You know, I don't have pictures or anything, but it looks good enough to me. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So same as before, we're just going to attach it in here. So it looks like he's coming at you. Okay, and then we'll have to reattach the Wookiee scalp, braided Wookiee scalp. Okay, it's a tight fit. And then everything else can stay, and then we're just going to attach the head. Alright, so let's do a 360. I'll zoom out. We're going to do a quick 360. With his signature blaster and the Jango Fett looking pistol. Okay. So this thing looks really mean. I like it. I'm probably going to display it like this, or the switch out with the flame instead of the two smaller pistols like Jango. And let me see. Get you guys a little bit more of the whatever that cloth that he has. Okay, and then we'll go back the other way. I love this action pose. I think this is one of the few, I think it's the only quarter scale Boba Fett that's action pose. I know there's another 1/6 scale that came out a long time ago, but I do like this one a lot. Okay, and like I said, if you have this display up high, it looks a lot better. Okay, so now we're going to switch out the other arm for the flamethrower. We have the alternate left arm. This one's going to have the flame coming out. So you can elect not to display the flame if you want. I think it works well. It looks like a heroic pose, and this is what the flame looks like. It looks like it came right out of Ghost Rider's motorcycle. Okay, so no magnet, just this metal rod. So it's pretty light, it's just plastic. What you want to do is, I guess he's got 2 ports, so you're just going to stick it right into that other one. So what we're going to do is, okay, so I hope you guys can see that. And that's it. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go without the flame first, just to see what the statue looks like. Okay, so it looks kind of weird, like he's, you know, one fist pumping, and then the other one, doing the gun. But if you like, you can also display it like this without the flame. So it's an option. So let's do a 360. It's kind of weird without the flame or anything. Okay. Well, you also say he's getting ready to flame on. Okay, so we can do that. So this piece has several display options if you like. So I really like it. This is my first Boba Fett, and I don't think I'm gonna get another one. This is it for me, unless something awesome comes out. But I love the action pose, and we're just gonna go ahead and attach the flame into the hole, and let's see. Oh, here it is. And that's what the flame looks like. Like, the blaster isn't enough. You got a flame on with that one. So that's what the front looks like. Okay. And then we'll do 360. I don't recall him using the flame in the movie. Maybe his dad did it in Phantom Menace, maybe? Don't recall now. I have to go back and watch the movies again. Okay. Well, good news is you might see this action since they're going to come out with a Boba Fett movie. So pretty cool. I like this display. The flame gives a good contrast. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'll switch out the other arms, and then we will go for a closer look, and then we'll switch it back to this one, and then we'll go to the final scorecard. Okay, just one more combo I forgot to do. Regular pistol instead of the trademark blaster and the flame. Okay, so I wanted you guys to see this. So as you can see, there are alternate displays, which is nice. Okay, so you can pick either one you want. Too bad he's never unmasked in the movie. So we could get like an unmasked one or a different portrait. That would be awesome too. Okay, so I'm going to take that out. Oh, and you want to do one without the flame. Okay. So it's like a action pose. Like a movie heroic pose. Okay. So that will work too. And let me give you a 360 with that. Okay, so we'll get a closer look, and then we will go to the scorecard. Alright, so I've put back the dual pistol wielding. It's more, like I said, more of a Jango Fett thing than a Boba Fett. Unless, they have this somehow in the extended universe comic books or something. So I have not read any of those yet. I will be catching up. But anyway, alright, let's go to the scorecard. The first thing we have is sculpting. As you can see, this thing is really nicely done. As with most of XM stuff, their sculpting is nice. Also their paint. Their paint is probably better than their sculpting. But as you can see, the flame is done well. I'm sorry, the smoke is done well. I don't think you can capture any more realism with this. And then, the flame can be, be done better, I guess. But when you try to translate it into 3D, it's hard. Okay, but anyway, back to the scope. Everything is done well. It's detailed. There isn't. I don't know. I don't have any complaints other than the aforementioned helmet. Now, as you can see, this part, the front of the helmet, is down too much. It needs to be, maybe like, oops, sorry, that. Okay. So I think Sideshow does a better job of making the helmet more realistic. And as you can see in the front, the dome is a little bit too low. It really should be higher, okay? Because he has to fit his head in there, and you can see where the eye slits are. So that's my only complaint about the sculpting. And then in looking at it, I don't see anything else wrong with it. And like I said, I'm not a connoisseur of Star Wars. I do watch the movies, and of course I play the games and all that stuff, and I like it. But I can't tell you if that thing should be there or not. Nothing like that. Okay. Oh, and I noticed this when I was putting it together. Like I never knew he has like these two little spiky thing on his foot. Like that. I never knew that. Maybe I should be paying attention. So I'm guessing he's using that to climb or something. So, anyway, so for sculpting, I would give this a 9 out of 10. The overall sculpt, as you can see, is really done well. The only problem I have is the helmet, And I guess they never really changed it because people were saying the helmet was a little bit small on top, so they kept it. So they should have changed that. It's a detachable head, so that would have been an easy fix. And then as you can see on the side, it's a little bit down. It should be up, so that's my only complaint. Okay, so 9 out of 10. Our next category is fit and finish. So that means that if it's got any mixed media, which this thing would have been nice to have, they should have made this with the like sideshow with the opposable cloth. That would have been awesome. Okay, so you can have it down so that it's like when he's shooting up, he's jumping up. This cloth would be down, and then it looks like from this pose he's jumping down from somewhere, and then he's using his booster to slow his descent. Okay, that's why this thing is popping up. So that would have been another nice display. But I suppose you can make your own cloth because that's removable. Maybe I will do that. One of these days, anyway. So fit and finish. That means you have the paint, and then if any mixed media like cloth, how well it fits the character. So as you can see, the paint job's really nicely done. I don't see any major flaws, and since this is a used Star Wars universe, with these things, even if they miss something, it's just a used piece of backing, so I don't have an issue with that. And as you can see, it's done very, very well. Okay, so for fit and finish, I'm trying to look to see. The only thing I don't like is the braided Wookiee hair. It's a little bit stiff, and it looks too, when you look at it, it looks plasticky, I guess. So it would have been better if they used obviously not real hair, but those strand of, I guess plastic, like a Barbie doll hair. See, they should have used it for this instead of the plastic. Okay, so it would have looked much more realistic. That's the only thing I would change about it. Other than that, the paint is good. So for fit and finish, and everything fit in there, except when I was doing this at the beginning, it's a little bit hard to get the two flames into it, and then you have to fidget around, but it got in. And as you can see, the flame, I don't think I've ever seen flame done realistic enough. Maybe instead of using regular paint on resin, they should use like translucent resin. That's usually done for skin and stuff, so maybe they can experiment in the future, make it more realistic looking. Okay, so that's my only complaint. That and the plasticky thing. So the score, I would have to give this a 8 out of 10, just because the flame doesn't look as realistic, and I know it's difficult to capture that. So they should have experimented on something, maybe translucent resin, and then of course the plastic. This thing just doesn't look right. I mean, when you look at it, it just looks too clean. They should have done this a little bit dirtier. White hair doesn't, unless you're in a movie or something, shouldn't be like white like that. Okay. All right, so let me switch out. Let me see. Let's go with the blaster, regular blaster. I like that, and then we'll do dual wielding. Okay, and then we'll go to the next category. Okay, so I've switched out for the trademark blaster right hand. So let me get you a closer look at that. I like it. It's really done well, and of course, it's XM, so that's to be expected. Okay. And let me get you a closer look at the arm, and the clothing is done well. And of course, being Star Wars, I think most fans like the realism. So even though it's nicely painted, it's not going to be able to match using cloth, especially with this thing. Okay. All right. So our next category is art direction. As you can see, this is an action pose. So if you don't, I guess Sideshow has come out with 3-4 different Boba Fett quarter scale. That is mostly just standing. He's standing looking down. He's standing looking cool. So that's kind of boring to me. most of the Star Wars, I guess statues are just boring. You know, they're just standing around. This is cool. It's action pose. It's not for everyone. I love it. I love action poses more than just standing around pose. So for the art direction wise, he looks like he's coming down and he's using his jetpack to cushion the fall. I don't think he's going up, because if he's going up, this thing should be like down here, gravity. So maybe XM should have included another piece of the cloth that like goes down like this. Okay, so as he's blasting off, the cloth wouldn't come up like that. Okay, so other than that, I love the action poses, you can see. So art direction wise, I would have to give this a 10 out of 10. I love the way they did this. And of course, you want to display this up high. Like for example, if you got up high, it would look like that. Okay, it would be pretty badass. So having up high would give you that view instead. So I have some of my statues on the floor. I don't think this is going to work too well. Okay. All right. And then our next category is source material. That just means that how close the producer comes to reproducing the statue based on the source material. Okay. So with this one, like I said, I'm not an expert, so I couldn't tell you if there should be 2 scratches instead of 3 scratches. I'm not into that. But looking at it as an overall piece, it looks like it's true to the source material. Other than I don't want to beat this to death, but the helmet, the dome is too small. Okay, so it needs to be like up like that. It's a big because where the eyes are, human head is much higher. So this part, it's the only thing that is bothering me a little. And then everything else checks out. Let me see. It would be nice if they included some other stuff, I guess. Well, I'll save that for the next category. But anyway, so source material wise, everything checks out for me. From the movies, I have not read any of the extended universe materials for Star Wars, so I couldn't tell you if he was using the dual wielding or not. So for source material, I would give this a 9 out of 10. The helmet being too small hurts it. Okay, and then but everything else checks out. And then this is just a generic platform that he's jumping down into. Okay, so let me switch out the this arm for the flamethrower, and then we will continue to our last category. Alright, so I have him Boba Fett doing a cool action pose. We'll do the flame in a few minutes. Alright, so our last category is accessories, and with this one, there are many accessories. And more importantly, just different ways that you can display the piece. Like for example, you have these 2 switch out arms. Okay, so you can do the dual wielding. You can, as you've seen before, you can switch out that, and then you can do that, and then we can stick the flame into here, which we're gonna do in a few minutes. Okay, so no complaints about accessories, and the accessory score is not just the switch outs, but as you can see, it's also the base, and that looks cool. Like he's hopping down. Normally you would think he's like blasting off, but because this piece of cloth is up, it looks like he's coming down. Okay, and then cushioning with the jet. So another, if they had added another piece of cloth that goes down, then it would could imply that he's blasting up. Okay, so that's the only thing I think it would be missing. And Boba Fett never was unmasked in the movie, so we don't get a unmasked portrait, which would have been nicer. But other than that, as you can see, it's nicely done. So I would have to give this accessories. It's not just the 4 switch out arms, but the multitude of ways that you can display it. And of course you get this flame, which I I guess people don't like, but then this is strictly optional, so you don't have to display it, but you can. So it's really nice. I would have to give this a 9.5 out of 10. If they had given us this to go down, also another piece, it would have been perfect. Okay. Other than that, everything checks out, and then as you can see, lots of details. The overall score, I like this piece a lot. And this is my first Boba Fett. Oh, you can see like more details of that. Okay. And I think this will be my last piece unless they come out with a better action piece, which I don't think there is. And I don't like the standing around piece like Sideshow has. It's not anything against Sideshow. It's just that I prefer the action pieces. Okay. As you can see. So the overall score, I really like this piece, and it's not an average. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. The only thing is the helmet. Like I said, I'm beating it to death, but the dome should be bigger. And the other piece with the accessories, everything checks out. But I would have liked to have this thing. I think Sideshow does theirs, like this thing. That's his. I don't think it's his antenna, but like that thing can go down. It'll go down like that over the eye, and I think it's for zooming or targeting. Okay, so if they had been, and I don't think it goes down. I don't want to break it. So it only stays up. That's the minor attention to details. Should make it go down. So that would have been better. Okay, but other than that, they only have a problem with the flame. It doesn't. I've seen, like I said, I've never seen any statues that has good flame looks to it. The smoke is fine. Okay, as you can see, and there are details. The pouches are big. Okay, and then you get fine, minute detail and texturing. As you can see, his back. That's pretty detailed. And then the backpack or jetpack, nothing to report. The only other issue I have is the braided Wookiee scalp with the hair. That's just plastic, and it doesn't look as good. They should have done like the hair like Barbie, the Barbie doll hair. So if they had tied that into it, and that would have been look can killer. Okay, and then as you can see, it's got a lot of good details. And then they should have included another piece that goes down, so that you can say he's blasting up. But because of that, he's coming down and he's using his jetpack as a cushioning thing for him to, I guess, land softly. Okay. All right. So thanks for watching, and then I hope I've been able to capture all of the details for you guys. I would recommend getting this piece. It's really nice. Even if you're not a Boba Fett fan, it's just one of those pieces that you should get. And then as you can see, there's not much to zoom in on the face. So, but it's nicely done. Okay, so thanks for watching. And then I guess I have the next XM coming in. I think it's the Mary Jane and Spider-Man, the swinging one. I thought that looks pretty cool, so that should be coming in like within the next month or so. Okay, so again, thanks for watching, and then we'll see you around for the next one. Go ahead and go out and buy this. It's readily available. I think it's the best Boba Fett out there, unless you're against action poses. It looks really nice, as you can see. And if you can display this at a higher level, it gives you a lot of goodies. Okay, so thanks again, and we'll see you around next time.